I'd like to chat with you today about a massive pain point, thorn in your side, if you like, regarding the QCTO. We've received so many questions regarding the cost and duration of the qualifications. So let's start with the duration. Yolande, why are the qualifications so much longer than the legacy ones?
It's longer because it's necessary.
I like that.
The reason for that being your legacy qualifications were quick. We tell you what you need to do, we try and explain how to do it, and you're done, and you have to go and figure it out for yourself. With a QCTO, the emphasis is not necessarily just on training you. They are focused on ensuring that when people leave the qualification, they have a sound understanding of what they have to do, how to do it, and what the expectation is. So it's no longer just getting the knowledge component, trying a simulation of the practical, and then go figure it out in the workplace. With QCTO, it's a strong emphasis on the knowledge, the concept of practical, and then the application within the workplace. And that is why it takes so long.
And what I love is, the aim is to provide a solid, comprehensive qualification. It's not just doing theory, doing practical, and doing a final assignment and you're done with the qualification. It is about learning the theory, which is your knowledge module, your practical application, and then actually applying that in the workplace. So like Yolande said, it's not a simulation. You are actually applying this knowledge in the workplace, and that's your workplace experience.
Just to use an example, the project management qualification. Yes, you do a strong knowledge component. When you're done with that, you use a scenario or a case study for the practical module, and then you move over into the workplace experience where you're working on an actual project, a live project.
Yeah, and I think at least, when you're done with the qualification, you actually know what you're doing over and above the exam, which will be in another video. Talk about the cost, because we've also had clients come to us and say, why are these qualifications so much more than the legacy ones?
It holds hands with the duration.
Yeah, it does.
Because of the number of days. Remember, the practical, the knowledge, the practical, and the workplace experience is facilitated. So we need to add those number of days to be able to cover all of that. But also, within the QCTO qualification documents, it clearly stipulates the number of days, contact time needed to cover all the components.
Yeah.
So it's not controlled by the service provider, the training company. That is prescribed by the QCTO, and we have to comply.
Yeah, it's in the curriculum document, and I think added to that in terms of the costing, to your point, hand in hand with duration, if we look at the retail chain store manager qualification, it's at an NQF level 6. 507 credits. So your QCTO qualifications also have a higher credit bearing qualification. So for us to transfer that knowledge to the value of 507 credits, we are allocated in the curriculum a certain amount of days that are mandatory in that qualification.
But what's also mandatory, Nadia, is the fact that we cannot use any facilitator.
I love that part. That's my favorite, that.
I prefer it because when you walk into the classroom, you know that you are being facilitated by a person who is qualified to facilitate. For example, leverage. All our facilitators are degreed. So they have to be 2 levels higher to the qualification that they are facilitating. It's not the same for all qualifications, but the majority of the qualifications are based on you cannot have a facilitator that is at the same level as the people that they are training. Makes sense?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of talk about using SMEs in the QCTO qualifications. And I mean, your subject matter experts, I prefer to call them specialists. The facilitators that we use are specialists in their field. In fact, we don't even use the same facilitator for the entire QCTO qualification because there are so many different components that require the services of different specialists. And I think that's important to remember as well, which adds to the costing, right?
It does.
What about the assessment process? Because that adds to our costing as well.
The assessment process is intense, and that's being kind. It's a heavy workload for assessors. There's a lot of work that goes into assessing those modules because it is so detailed. So the knowledge modules, your practical modules, your workplace experience, all of that needs to be assessed by an SME. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Rightfully so, we want that, but it does impact on the cost.
So added to that, we also have the exams that are written at the end of the qualification. The next video will focus on that. I think what we need to remember is, yes, the qualifications are longer, but if we look at the benefit, you still get your rebates. You can still claim in terms of your spend over that 24 months or 18-month period, as long as that qualification runs. What we do at Leverage is we allow for that payment flexibility so that clients can pay that qualification over 2 financial years, which benefits, I mean, it's a great benefit to our clients. And I think, you know, when we see the spike in the increase of the qualification, we just need to be mindful. It can be carried over 2 financial years, that cost, number one. Number two, you are getting a solid quality qualification at the end of the project, and, you know, over and above the rebates, but you're really developing people at a very detailed level, and I think that's what we need to remember.
It's an investment not only for the company but for the people. You're investing in your people, and that's the purpose.
100%.